Let there be peace and love. Welcome to Satsang. This reality of the world, of the senses, of the feelings and of the thinking, which belongs to I am somebody born, is taken for real by the world and by the subject who takes himself for the body and the mind. And most happily, there is another voice, the voice of the wise, who says it's an apparent reality included in what you really are. And that who you really are is one and the same for all and is here now. It's realized the moment you are clear that you just have to give up the concept I am someone, I am born. All this is an expression of what's real, means who you really are. So, to be able just to make a fact of that, it can be taken like that at once. Otherwise, there is a good way of self-investigation, not towards objects or feelings or senses as usual, but towards what's before I rises. And so it's a negative way, whatever is expressed, described, whatever is seen, comprehended, apprehended, it is not this, it's not that, it's not what I am in reality. It belongs to the realm of appearance. So satsang is not more speech than that. It's rather created by the questions of the seeker for this demand. I want to know myself, who I am in reality, and the answers will be always to remind oneself that it's just a mistake to take one for something or someone or some feeling, that it is here. So it's kind of question and answers. Or you can expose, of course, your doubts, your questions, your convictions, or something about that which remains absolutely unknown by nature. Otherwise, again, it is of an appearance of belonging to I see, I know, I feel, I sense. And the hypnotism is immediate. That's why one has to be reminded, one gets more vigilant of what is not. So please, don't feel shy, even if you are shy, it doesn't matter. It's your space. As we need a teacher to learn swimming, I think it's totally natural to need at some point a teacher to help in this search, which in reality is created by the mind, and so in itself it doesn't represent the reality. The reality is that don't search. You are that. So if there is a few if and but somewhere, please expose them. Expose them, I tell you, because even if you are quiet because circumstances are such, maybe you were not quiet before, and so you will not be quiet after leaving the satsang. And then you will continue to search. Because this kind of silence is ephemeral, temporary, due to some cause. It's a particular space in the mind. While the real peace, the real silence is not objectified, so it doesn't enter into time and space, doesn't belong to somebody, so it is not temporary. So we'll ask one question. If you don't, why are you coming here? You can answer. If
The point you pointing.
Yeah.
You pointing it's really what I feel. So when I am in satsang,
Yeah.
still is beautiful.
Yeah.
And the searcher is in daily life is always there.
Yeah. Because you see, it looks like it was the same seeker, the same searcher, who has known a moment of silence. And so the same one, what does it mean, a searcher, a seeker? Is the one you feel, you think with, who you sense. That's what you think you are. So that one knows some space of silence, and so the same seeker is quiet, but the same seeker jumps on something else when silence stops. So the problem actually is not the experience of silence or the experience of agitation, because they are always coming and going. Always. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes. So, what looks like the problem is to take oneself for a seeker. And you are a seeker when you think, I am this body-mind, I am born and I will die. So, to remove that concept, you can just wake up to this. All right, I cannot be what's going all the time on changing. The proof is that I always say I. When I was a child, when I am an adult, and when I'm an old one. This I, if it is not dressed by the body-mind, for example, what happens to it? Does it remain as you thought before it was? Tell me. Who am I in reality? Who am I? When you ask this question, you are obliged not to grasp just the moment of the question, whatever you know or you experience. Otherwise, you cannot ask this question. Because this question goes towards the source of I, or towards what you really are. So you have to leave everything that you took so far with you behind. And going freely with who am I. And don't stop at any sensual or emotional or thoughtful answer. Otherwise you feed again the seeker. Just freely free yourself from any known answer, and that is the answer. And once you have known that, whatever rises, you know it is of unreal nature. It's apparently like this. It seems I am happy, but happiness is not real too. But it comes from where I am. And that is always with you. So you can always, when you have this strong habit to go away from there, you know now the direction to just go back to yourself. So when it looks like stopping, don't worry, it looks like only. Who you really are is not troubled by that. For that, you have to take the silence as unreal as the agitation. It just appears. So it's not more real than something else.
Because sometimes silence arises and it's like the radio, turn off the radio, nothing, no thoughts, and it's quite beautiful. I mean,
of course, but who enjoys that? The same I who is troubled when that beautiful space goes away.
Yeah.
That's why I tell you, don't control any experiences which are coming, even enjoy them, but don't think it's real. Whatever can be experienced, it's not real by nature. But they come from where you are real. So stay there rather than staying in what comes and goes.
I'm trying to understand. I feel that.
Okay.
I am trying to understand.
So who is trying to understand to make it another understandable thought?
Yeah.
But I would like you really get the real answer.
Yeah.
So don't try to understand, but ask who is trying to understand. Because that is problematic. Who is trying to understand?
The one who wants liberation.
I.
Yeah.
Simple. I. So liberation is not towards the mind or everything which can rise and go. The answer is prior to that. So plunge into yourself where you always are, but you veil it by trying to understand. Plunge into that, asking, who am I? Don't search for an informative answer. You go there? What's here now?
I don't know.
Good. Mind is left for a while. I don't know. Very good. You cannot go there. But from where you can say, I don't know. That's who you are. That's always there. So here you are. And it's always there. The rest come and go. It's apparent. Yes?
When I hear masters share their stories of liberation or full realization, they always talk about it like there was a moment or an event.
Yeah.
And there's something here that knows already I am that. And there's also something from hearing the way it's talked about that is looking for an event. That's looking for a moment to happen.
Then you forget that. What happens then?
Then
you forget about the event. What happens?
When
you forget about the event. No. You don't go into time. What happens?
Right now I feel like I can't forget about the event.
That's what I say. You link yourself with the time.
But there are also, there's also times when I don't link myself with time or with an event.
Yeah, but time includes also timelessness. You can have experiences of timelessness. Some other call it silence or absolute. But there is still someone who describes this way or who experiences it. You see, realization is when there is no experience, it's just a fact. I always have been myself. So all what can come after that, like, oh, but there was no event, for example, and all that, you know that it's the talk of the mind. So you don't go there, means you don't feed it. It's not valuable regarding this subject.
So why then do masters talk about the realization?
But you speak of which masters, for example?
Right here, like even Ramana's story that's shared as...
No, what he shared is what happened till then, till the realization. He could describe what was going on, but he was still a human being then, a being, till he realizes when there is a realization, he will surely not speak of the event. He never spoke of an event after that. His mind was so sharp and one-pointed, or vigilant, he could describe whatever was happening before the realization.
And say, I've also heard you share your own story.
But I always share very rarely, and when I do, I really say, oh, lucky I was, because I could hear, finally being with the Master, that the event is not it. The event is not it. If another time I didn't hear that, I would have taken the event for it, and by today I would be in my memory only. So don't be focused on that.
It arises still like a confusion. Like if there's something that...
But if there is a confusion, it's only in the mind. So why do you think that the mind will tell you something so real that you have to be attentive to what it speaks?
I think it's more because I've been paying attention to what is shared by the masters or shared about about them.
But that's why it's difficult to tell the story of the seeker, because at some point it disappears, but the realization is not the disappearance, is to see, oh, I always have been myself.
Is my mind not myself?
I'm just one by one, it will be easier. Something wouldn't click, huh?
Yeah, something is not clicking.
Yeah. So, who is confused? We come back to that. Who is confused for this?
Only the mind is confused.
Well, but whose mind? Whose mind? Huh? Whose mind?
I mean, I know the logical answer is my mind, but I don't feel like it's my mind.
I have a mind.
Yeah.
It's because I, as a person, has risen and is taken for real that whatever my mind will say, and not only the mind, the emotions and the senses, they will be looking like real, because I looks like real. So that's why I has to be the concept we have of ourselves that we call I. It's a concept actually. It has to be rooted out. It has to be seen. It has to be given up. And one of those magistral direction is to ask, who am I? But you see, it's not like a mantra. It's rather like when you have this fire for liberation, you really want now, it is enough. You may ask it once, following the direction of it, which leads you to what you are. And forget about events and all that. All that belongs to stories, to this apparent world.
But it seems like we have to do that again and again in time.
For some time it may look like, but each time, you see, it seems like I feel very much identified. But it's due to strong habit. So don't be impressed by that experience and remember what you are. So I am not going to listen to that also. At once you give up. That's why I speak of solid background. That's given by your own fire for freedom and by a perseverant investigation, perseverant coming to satsang alive for a while to really have this spontaneous wisdom. Whenever you feel you lost it and suddenly you wake up by that wisdom, say, oh, what I'm doing, it is just an appearance. Where are you at that moment? Left where you always have been.
And is there, and I guess this is my question, by following this again and again, and asking this again and again, is there then, it looks like there's a moment where the confusion drops once and for all.
No, but it's not like this. Once you know yourself, I cannot say when, it's so automatic. You are radical in the sense that, why should I listen to this mind? Mm-hmm. If it is unreal, if I have seen what I am is always there, and it's only the mind which had a fantasy of something, why should I listen to the mind? So you have to hear that more than anything else in the end. You have to spot what is the mind, what it is not. And then, when you are left alone with yourself as a fact, there is no more trouble with what appears and disappears. So probably there is some kind of feeling in and out for you. And this in and out is due to the presence of I am someone, which has not yet, will you believe, not yet been really asked, even if you think so. You must have stopped the question with some answer. Otherwise,
this is what I'm not sure, because I don't go, when I ask the question, who am I don't land at an answer in the mind. But I don't know then if it's subtle and I'm not catching it. Or not even, there's nothing to catch.
Yeah. But the proof is that you believe your mind still. You believe what your mind says. The search. What makes the search? A subject, I, and questions, concepts, experiences, emotional experiences, and so on. That makes the search, and that gives you experiences different and deeper and looking like more real, more you are in the search towards liberation. Till the moment you hear, it will never be through the mind and in the mind, nor in the body. You are not the body and the mind. That's why you are that just now. And then you understand that even if you want to figure it out and so on, you don't go there because you have seen, you heard so well that it will not be in the mind. That has to be a solid background.
It's that simple.
It is that simple. Yes, now honor this. Yes. Yes, you wanted to say. You're sure? You will not ask it tomorrow? The mind is time. Is the time. That's why it comes and goes. And what makes the sage say, I am that, it's not taken by the time. And so if we live, and of course if we search, we are in the time, we only can conceive in time. So it will always be tomorrow, or I'm not yet ready, or I'm mature but this beyond, there is still a more beyond. The mind will always present something more. So it's a real tyranny of the mind. So that has to be seen, more than trying to experience silence and the absolute and myself, real self, when it's not possible, when still there is the presence of I. It's better to know, to spot the mind when it presents itself. Then you know it's not this, it's not that. And at some point you are left. You wonder with what you would say, nothing. So keep quite there. That's what you are. And from there, again, of course, the self expresses itself. There is this world of appearances and disappearances. But then what? I'm not that. or then there is no more separation and you can say everything is that. But you see, all those words, if you grasp them by the mind, it gives concepts. So it's really better not to play with concepts, better to drop concepts. Even this oneness, drop it, it troubles, you see. You just don't have concepts. And then you are freed. Please.
And this awakening happened like that, spontaneous?
Yeah, I think even in the childhood sometimes it happened. The only thing is generally with those experiences of awakening or plunge into awakening is that one doesn't know that what rises is not to be listened to, just for a while. And so, of course, it looks like the thought comes, oh, what was it, or whatever comes after that. If you listen to it, then again you are in the world of thoughts.
Yeah.
And that has not been learned.
You go to past.
Yes.
Future.
Yes.
Both don't exist.
If
you are just in the now and not thinking, then you feel so joyful, nothing happens. The moment you connect the past or future, you're out of it.
Yes. You may not think you are out of it,
it's like,
but at least to have a realization, not only an experience of awakening, this has to be seen.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've seen many times. Yes. But I was like 5 years in survival period because I have so many things going on, and then 2 years I'm road process, warning, and then suddenly 2 weeks ago it's like a click in my head and joy comes, like I see not 13 years, it's joy, and I was thinking, what's happening? Do nothing, be nothing, just joy, stop laughing, not stopping. Yeah, it's like one click from that.
Yes, but you see, even the joy is an expression of it.
As an experience.
And if you take the joy for real, you are again God. That's why it is said vigilance.
Yeah.
Vigilance. All this comes from where you are.
Yeah.
And from where you are is most precious, more precious than all the expressions of it.
Yeah, sometimes I have hours of silence, nothing. But this joy was so long gone in my life, and then you have this experience. You love it.
I know.
It's
But it's a big risk to love expression.
Yeah, but everybody wants joy, happiness.
But that's why it's urgent to realize, because then it's real joy.
Yes,
but not like one sensed or experienced or thought of it.
Not from sense.
Yeah.
Like, for nothing.
I have a beautiful sentence of my master. Papaji was my master. He said, enjoy, don't be the enjoyer.
Yeah.
Do things, don't be the doer.
Yeah.
Maybe not understandable, but most beautiful sentence.
But it was because I was 13 years in survival gear, lost my child,
Forget
lost so
about
much
it.
things, and yeah, I know my neurons were all over the place, not sleeping, not totally off balance, and then I do a lot of meditation always, but suddenly like this click was like, stop and grieve, stop the game, stop, drop it all, and that's joy from there, and then you can be so easy attached to that again.
Of course, but next time it comes, you know, you learn your lesson.
Yes.
If you really want to be freed.
Yeah.
Good. Yes, please.
Then this
I don't hear well.
then this life,
Yeah.
like this, is just an expression.
Yes, it's an expression of yourself. So who sees that? Who is aware of that?
It's because I was wondering about that, actually.
Mm.
I was, even this moment, it's, I try to imagine how it's like. I know it's the mind, how this will last beyond life. I know it's my mind, but
So if you know it's the mind, you know that you will not get a definitive answer.
because all questions stop.
Mm. Better to see if I am born. Am I born at all? Of course I am born, and there are many arguments about it in the mind, even in the body. But is it not going on changing all the time? Or is it possible I can describe all that? I cannot be an object of description. I'm not what I can describe. Mm-hmm. I am that which is aware of all descriptions. So it's just an illusion, but it's like a shift of base. Instead of placing yourself on some step, which is always the same for everyone. I'm born, I'm somebody. You just remove the carpet of that base, and then you are yourself, you are what's real. And from there, a movie is played, a movie disappears, goes on changing, where you have a role, of course, but you don't confuse anymore who you are for what is seen, perceived, and sensed, and experienced. That is the preciousness of liberation.
ask a question?
Please.
I don't know you, so I don't know your teachings.
I didn't hear.
I don't know you, I don't know your teachings.
Yeah.
I came here because I have friends who can.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting.
Yeah.
But I would like to know what your idea is about where you're at. I heard you say this a few times now.
Where?
Where you're at. where a person would be. So you need to know where you are.
Yeah.
Yes. Could you explain that? Because the other things that you were talking about, I did understand, but that I was a little bit like, what do you mean by that? Because a friend of mine has said this to me a lot.
Yeah.
In that, and I think it was in the same sense. And he also talked to me about being vigilant about where you are.
Well, why there is satsang is because a few, have this surge of happiness or of peace, no more towards the world. Oh, I get a good food, then I will be happy. The happiness depends on something, or a car, or a woman, or a man. You see, there is always a happiness or a peace, depending on a sunset or something. Right. Yeah? So, after all, one wants, and it disappears. It's always for a while. The life is like this.
It's true.
Right. So one, in the end, wants to repeat the good things and wants to avoid the bad things.
Hence the cycle.
It's a cycle. I would call it even a vicious cycle, because where is the solution? It looks like the subject, so the one you think you are, I, the subject, is helpless to solve it for something which will last. Is hopeless if he got a lot of experiences in life and a lot of hopes and all that, and everything falls, or at least even if he accomplished something, it disappears, even with death. So actually one suffers. Yes. One is unsatisfied. Or he will express maybe in those terms that he feels there is something missing. Or what is the meaning of life? Or who am I in reality? Right. And here comes satsang, which is a particular teaching who speaks not of what you really are, but it says all what you think, all what you experience is through your emotion and senses, that's not really who you are. So the speech of the wise. They give a direction opposite to the direction given by the world. And the world is I, the world, and it always go in, out, or even in, but it's inner world belonging to someone. So it's always out there. Yes. Yeah? So when you negate and say, I'm not the one I think I am, it's a quite scandalous thing. It's a big thing to hear that. So whatever I experience, I'm not. Whatever I think, I'm not. Right. Just to arrive where you always are, but it's hidden because we grasp always something.
So you're very much arriving at your starting point.
Absolutely. Very well said. But it's hidden by a full life sometimes, you see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And getting back to that place of who you were, or who you really are.
Yeah.
Before.
That is the great
everything
wish.
Else, and that is the only thing that is lasting.
Yeah.
Which connects all of us then.
And
which is connecting all of us as well.
It's one and the same nature.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
But I've heard what you're saying, and I've heard this said by different people, not necessarily following the same masters.
Of course, yeah, sure.
And it's really interesting. Thank you very much.
It is very interesting. Thank you. Yes. That's why it's called the fight for freedom, you see, liberating oneself from hypnotism, from hooking at always something. One simply could be freed from concepts, you see. And still the life will present itself as long as it is alive, anyway.
Can I ask you one more thing?
Yeah, please.
I was listening to this lady here, and she was talking about pain, really.
Pain.
Pain.
Yeah.
And I can see how you can say to yourself, okay, joy is ephemeral, that the TV show will end, or the song will end, or the dance will end. But what about pain when you...
It ends when you sleep. If you can really sleep.
Yeah.
And I couldn't sleep.
Yeah, but that's
When I
part
was
of the
at
pain.
five, yeah,
That's
because
part
of
of the
that,
pain.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then, okay,
But
when you sleep-
today it looks just now, at least she's
Yeah.
not in pain.
No,
So
no,
you
it's
see,
not.
it goes also.
Yeah, but also her happiness or joy can go. But I'm taking that for myself.
Yeah,
Not that I'm in tons of pain right now,
yeah,
but I'm just wondering, life is suffering, and we do go through pain, and that is also a cycle that we go through.
yeah.
And that is also how you get rid of it without feeling guilty about getting rid of it.
Oh, why should you be guilty? It's your birthright to just be yourself, and that is also the best help, not only for your own incarnation, but for those who are near you. Even not speaking about that, but just that you know yourself, you see. Something, some perfume is there
Yeah.
that may quieten down this burning world.
I think a lot of people live in pain because they feel guilty not to live in pain.
Because they go.
Feel guilty not to live
Ah.
in pain because of
Yeah,
other
but that
people.
is a real twisted concept of the
Yeah.
world. Let's not listen to that.
Yeah. Okay.
Really not. Really not.
Thank you.
Please.
I liked what Papa G said about painful memories. Why would you keep going back to something that hurts you?
Mhm.
It's a waste of time.
But this you have to hear once and then being struck by it, you know?
Yeah.
Sure, sure. It's a blessing to hear those sentences, you see. It may stop you, it may struck you, and then you may remember it when needed. You see? Yes. And you see this search to know one real self, it can be called like this, it has one demand. It wants to be the priority of the life in order to realize it. Because it's uncompromising. If you keep one belief, let's say, that belief looks like veiling it. Because who has a belief? Someone, an appearance, and that someone bases himself somewhere. So it has to be a life like this till all that disappears as a problem or as a search. So it's already very good to have it as a cup of tea, but it is very demanding if you want to realize. Which is easy. Here, try to hear. Try to hear, just not looking at anything. You are that. You are yourself now. And know from here that if you have any search, it is a search in the apparent world. You cannot search yourself. You are it. You cannot objectify it. You are just it.
So, so the one who's searching is actually fake. And you cannot be the one who's searching.
So where are you now that you said that?
Sorry?
Where are you now that you said that?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah. So if it is fake, you drop it, huh?
Yeah. And you're searching for yourself, but the one who's searching is actually not you.
Yes, so when you say that, you just drop your real finding. So, where are you now?
Yes, but at the end it must be a deep knowing, not another concept that you make. No, like, yeah, not consciousness, but a deep knowing. It's like,
I don't say
can I
anything.
explain?
It's better not to explain.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was laughing when he was not explaining.
So you cannot search. It's not possible to search.
I mean, you can search, but you will never find the answer by the mind who searches.
But the one who's searching is not you.
Ah,
So you cannot search.
so don't search, please. Really, don't search. And even if you have some voice who says, in tomorrow or in 10 years, well, maybe you'd never go there again. Because as you said, it was the fake I with his fake mind. You mean it's apparent. Yeah.
Could it be the moment you lose language?
But could you speak as slowly as a little louder? Yeah. You lose the language?
No, the moment we use the language,
Yeah.
we are in our mind. Speaking from the mind again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you see that clearer and clearer, you understand why, for example, I say, don't go into any movement of mind in order to realize yourself. With the mind, you can realize many things. A great career, a great artistic thing, anything. But realization of the self will not be made by the mind. So don't think here. Even when the thinking appears, don't go there. Just for a while. Not the style of life, of course. Just to allow the obviousness of your real self to appear, to be.
you say not as a style of life? Not going to
Because you cannot not think in a living. You have to think to fetch your bread or whatever, you see. In that way. In order, if someone still feels he has to realize, he has to dedicate a moment is better than trying to meditate for 2 hours, 3, as if it was better. It's not better. Because it's a question of waking up to yourself. It takes a blink of an eye, Because you are already yourself. It's not like you have to attain it. You are yourself first. You are clear about it? I don't know your name. You? No?
Not really, maybe.
Why don't you ask me something? You don't know what to ask?
Yes, I just try to block everything that's coming up in my mind. Just ignore it, because we talked on Sunday.
But it's better to find out who you are rather than to have someone with a blocked mind, and then what you will do is that one.
Yes. When I try to find out who I am, there's just mind coming up, and that cannot be it.
Yeah.
It could be anything that comes up.
Yeah.
So I just try to ignore it.
Yeah, okay.
That would allow the freedom for the real answer to come up.
Okay.
But anything that comes up, I just try to ignore.
Okay, so where are you now?
Lost.
That's a thought. I am lost is a thought. Why you take it suddenly as real? You said that you ignore it. You can ignore this one.
Well, anything I say is then that I should stop talking then, because anything...
No. You should not stop talking. No. It's good to talk because it reveals where you place yourself. I'm lost. Okay, and you spoke of confusion. It's the same. So somehow you stopped, you land yourself there. Because, you see, you always trusted your mind and your body. So of course, if something happens there, or your emotions, if something happens there, it looks real to you. That is the problem, because the one you think you are, you really think it's real. So that's why this proposition to, if it is that you want to know your real self, is to question this famous I, What is this I?
When I question this, answers come up, for instance, the body, this personality.
Yeah, but you don't stop there. You ignore that, huh?
Yeah, I try to ignore it.
You ignore it. No, don't try. Just ignore them. Because trying, you give a little...
Just a question mark, and it leaves a question mark. I don't know.
You don't know. The mind will never know. Even if someone, let's say, if there is freedom, I don't know what is freedom. But there is no search in wanting to know. It's totally natural that the mind doesn't know. He will never know because he doesn't go there. He's born from there, he disappears there. And who you are is that, you see, is that background, substratum, if you want to say. But that is revealed when you don't catch any feeling, experience, or thought.
Yes, but there is automatically the feeling that there's localization here. So you were.
So it's not it.
I try to, well, I don't try to. I mean, automatically, this sort of this identification with this here, but there's a doubt.
Yeah.
This is really it. So
No, because
some sort of a
you
believe that I'm the body, but
Yeah.
there's at the same time this doubt that is this really it because
No,
so many
no.
teachings that say you're not
No,
it.
no. Never you question it anymore. It is not it. You have to learn that. Whatever you experience, feel, or think, it's not it. There's no question to question it. If you want to realize yourself, you have to get these guts. It's not it.
Yes, but there is this doubt, and there is this
But
feeling
don't
that
listen.
there is this doubt that no, it might not be it. There might be, the I might be something else, because it doesn't feel completely, doesn't feel right. But still, there is this identification.
But that's
So
what
it's
I
sort of
say.
the two things.
Yeah, but to cut the identification is the best way. It's not it. You see, to cut the identification with the body-mind, it looks like it's very sharp to say it's not I who experiences, because it's I rising. It's not it. It's not I feel. It's not it. And then you will suddenly be left alone with what?
How do you realize that it's not it? Because I can.
No, you trust the direction of the Buddhas.
That is what is creating the doubt. There is this automatic identification with I'm bliss, but there is doubt created because of what I've read and what I've heard from
good.
Buddhas and masters.
Okay.
So that's why I doubt it, but still there's this feeling that I'm it, and now there's this question, is this really it, or is this just a feeling, is there something else, what is it, and how do I figure out, and how can I trust whatever answer I get, because it's all mine, so it's all unreal, so there's no definite ground.
But that's why you have not to go into your mind, because otherwise all these torments come up. So if you don't listen to your mind, what happens? If you don't, for a moment, it has to be sharp. Just for a moment, you don't go there. What happens? That's better. That's already better. It is that direction rather than in the direction of this creation, endless creation. It's into that direction, which is prior to the rising. The rising is played on it or from it, doesn't matter.
That was what I was saying, it's trying to ignore everything that comes up in the mind.
Yes, good. But where are you then now? Why you say I'm lost? You could
Because
say
there's this, like I said, there's this doubt and I don't know what to believe. This
No, you have not to
automatic
believe
sense.
anything. Realization will not be another belief.
Yes, I know that, yeah.
Okay, so if still there is something which hooks you, you don't go there. Don't worry for the answer. It will be there. Not mentally.
This is how to recognize this.
Oh, don't worry. you will not be there to recognize it. That's why it's possible. Because otherwise you always feed this I as a person, you see. I lives on being fed by the mind, by the senses, by the emotions. So we limit ourselves by what goes on, what takes birth and death. So don't worry for the answer. It will be your own realization. What I am really is, I am always there. I've always been that. So help yourself in being quite radical, in not landing anywhere. Ah, that's being in English. Tu peux poser une question. Bien choisi.
Je voudrais savoir quel est l'intérêt de se réaliser entre une personne qui se réalise, qui elle est vraiment, et une autre qui ne se réalise pas, qui n'est pas réalisée. Quelle est la différence? Au fond, il n'y en a aucune.
She's asking, what is the difference between someone where a realization happened and someone who is not realized, as one thinks? And her conclusion is that there is no difference. Bien sûr qu'il y en a, sinon on serait pas assez fou pour venir en satsang et parler en satsang. There is a difference. One, je te dirai en français, one listens to the mind and we know what it means, changing like the wind and suffering like hell. And one doesn't listen to the mind, and the life, apparent life of that one is full of duality still, but there is no confusion ever. Hein? L'un, tu as compris? Ok, parfait.
Une confusion.
Ah, one question. Une question. The confusion makes search, and confusion is not happiness, is not peace.
Dites-moi en français.
La confusion fait chercher, et la confusion, ce n'est pas la joie, ce n'est pas la peur. And the human being, l'être, is born towards, is always wanting happiness and peace and love and joy. L'homme court après la joie, l'amour, la paix, le bien-être, tout ce qui est heureux. The target is wrong. Le but, la manière de le faire est fausse, parce que tout est irréel dans ce monde, tout est éphémère, c'est surtout ça. So the target in general is wrong because we go towards temporary happenings, accomplishments. So there is no real peace there. The real peace is just to know yourself, realize yourself.
It's just like change the arrow inside of oat, change it,
Right?
change the
Direction. Yes. Very true. Realization is a bit like this, you see. I am a cup. I think I am somebody. And I get very busy that I think happiness will be when this glass will be full. The space in, and there is space out. So I speak of in. It will be full. No, it will be half full, then I get well. No, when it is empty. Oh, I heard when it's full. Anyway, when it is water. No, with wine. And so on. There's a lot of going on here. And then, okay, some says it's when it's empty. So we remove the concepts. It's getting empty. And then there is a space in and a space out. Why there is this in and out when it's exactly the same space? Because of the cup. So I question I think I am somebody. Now I'm questioning I to see that there was never I. It's exactly the same space. Now this I which appeared can still appear, but then there is no in and out. I don't know if it is a good image. Another image, it's very simple images, but you see, for example, one is searching for the sun. He's on earth, he searches for the sun. Many sunny days, happiness. Clouds, we know what it means. Unhappiness. So, in between clouds, again, I'm happy. Sun is there. Something stable is there. Again a cloud. Now, if you don't base yourself anywhere, but you hear, you are the sun, you are the sun. Even if there are clouds or no clouds, is there any difference for the sun? Nothing happens to the sun, even though clouds may still appear. So, you see, it's a shift. Instead of placing yourself on I am born, you just see the irreality of that, or it's just an experience like any other. It comes and goes. Of course, it's enormous because you identify with this body-mind, and yet, what is this I? What is this I which is untouched, which is the same when you were young, the same when you are old? That's the sun, that's the self. That was always there. And the rest goes on changing, come and go. So, it's worth to realize that. It ends all the cycles. Thank you very much.